What do you love and care about so much that you would be willing to put it all on the line? For me, it's the people I lead that count on me. My clients and my family. I was born in Hong Kong, and when I was 7 years old, my family moved to Sydney, Australia, where I grew up. This is why I look like an Asian person and I sound like an Australian. After college, thank you. After college, I moved to the United States. And I worked really hard over the next decade to transform myself from a self-conscious, extremely socially awkward computer programmer nerd to training and coaching business leaders on how to overcome their fear of public judgment and be great public speakers. The leaders I worked for really loved what I did, but I felt like I needed to help more people, and so I felt that creating my own business was my next step. My internal GPS, genuine path signal, said, yes, this is the way. But I wasn't brave enough yet to go out on my own. And plus, the leaders loved what I did. Everything was good until I was assigned to work with a new leader that we'll call Ms. In Charge. After a meeting, I said to Ms. In Charge, I really appreciate your support in this, to which she replied, this is your project, not mine. That was the first sign that things were about to change. In another meeting, I asked a question, and she said, I thought I covered that already. I felt the entire room hold their breath and shrink back in their chair. My internal GPS said, this is so not the way. That evening, I had knots in my stomach. I felt my blood boil. If there was ever a motivator that I needed to leave my comfort zone and step out on my own and create a bigger game, it ought to be now. I had read in a Gallup poll study that over 1 million employees were surveyed and that 75% of them said that they don't leave their jobs because of the job, but because of their boss. And now I'm pretty sure I understand why. However, my head voice said, you're not ready yet. You've never run a business before. You don't know what you're doing. I felt trapped. Have you ever felt trapped? Yeah. Around the same time, my husband and I wanted to start a family. And after 3 years of trying and a devastating miscarriage, we finally had a beautiful baby boy. And we named him Robbie. And as a new mother, I felt really vulnerable. I wanted to learn martial arts, but I was scared to, because as a child, I was bullied. And now I have this fear of confrontation. But my internal GPS, genuine path signal, said, this is the way. So I work up the courage and I walk into the karate dojo for the very first time. And at the end of this long corridor, I hear, here, here, here. Oh my God, what am I getting myself into? These black belts are going to beat me up so badly. But the leaders there were so empowering. They said, Mary, we have been where you are. A few years into my training, my sensei, my teacher said to me, all right, Mary, you have some of the basics now. Now what I need you to do is work on being fierce. And I said, I am fierce. And he went, no, you're not. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put on these gloves. They're soft. You see, they're not going to hurt you. But I am going to punch at you, and I do need you to defend yourself. And before I could think, the punches just started coming. And I was like, stop, 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 stop. I'm scared. Stop, stop. I don't have enough technique. I need more technique. And he said, you have enough technique. All right, here's what we're going to do. Imagine that your little boy, Robbie, is here in this room right now. And I'm going to hurt him. The only thing between me and him is you. What are you going to do? Now I feel this fire come alive in my belly, and the voice of the fire said, you will not come near my child. and all of the technique I ever learned came to bear. It wasn't pretty, but before I knew it, I had him in a headlock. And all this adrenaline was still pumping through my body, but it was over. I dropped to my knees, and I start sobbing. My sensei, he comes up to me, grabs my shoulders, and he says, "Mary, you are a tender-hearted warrior. Now go bring that to the world." I realized that real leaders come from the heart. And they're willing to nudge you, support you, even push you to your very edge because they know that you will rise to the occasion, like my sensei did for me. Old school leaders, they use fear and control to keep you in your little corner and often to protect their own egos. And now it was time for me to live my realization. Ms. In Charge and I parted ways, bye-bye, and I walked into my own business. And it was hard. I had to learn all of these business skills on the fly. My husband wasn't working at the time. At one point, I was 5 months behind on my mortgage. And I was this close to not being able to make the payments for my son's health insurance. But I knew I could help people, and one look at my son's sweet, innocent little face gave me the courage to keep going. And after walking through those fires, I now know what I am made of. I have a business today that's thriving and I'm proud of. I have trained and coached over 30,000 people in 30 cities in 4 continents. I am a karate second-degree black belt and instructor. Thank you. And my friends, I am 100% committed to empowering those I lead, from the dojo to executives to companies and at home. My mission is to awaken and ignite the fierce spirit in all women so that we can create the impact that we don't even know we are capable of yet. In a 2019 LinkedIn report found that 94% of workers said that they would stay at their company much longer if their leaders invested in them in their development. Now is the time to nurture, support, and train a critical mass of a new generation of leaders and bring the heart back into leadership. Who's with me on that? Amen. Thank you. It's not about changing the old, but it is about building the new, starting right now. I want to give you one tool from my training course called the Heart First Way. And we call this tool your internal GPS. Write this down. Your internal GPS, it stands for Genuine Path Signal. It's not your head voice, it is your heart voice. It takes time, intention, and training to develop it, but just like martial arts, it can be done. My friends, listen to your internal GPS and align your actions and the way you lead this way. Why? Because, my friends, this is the way. It is the heart first way.